What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Sip Off, where we have drinks and we talk all things basketball. We got a jam-packed show for you. We got the NBA deadline passed today. WNBA free agency is going crazy. It's getting to the end of the regular season in NCAA. It's basketball season, y'all. All right, we're gonna go ahead and get our guests on first. We got Detroit Dom or the Jersey guy. What's up, Dom?
How are we doing? I believe this is my season debut on the Sip Off. Sorry I've been MIA, but you know,
Life happens. Life happens. It's no big deal. No big deal.
life is so much better.
Well, good. I'm glad.
So much better.
What are you drinking today?
I've got a spiked Arnie. I've also got some Stellas in the fridge. I also have tomorrow off work, so all
Ooh,
bets are off.
I like Stella.
Stella.
What are you wearing?
It is a early 2000s ISO Joe Johnson, my favorite player from that era.
Okay,
Also
very
a former
cool.
Piston. Never played in a game. Signed him in the offseason, played in the preseason, waived him. I don't get it.
All right, we're gonna get our next guest on. We got Will Vogel. What's up, Will?
So I'm just wearing an NBA T-shirt with.
Okay.
It's hard to see. It's a Hornets T-shirt, and it commemorates like all the players for the 30 years of the Hornets history.
Oh, very cool. Very cool.
And it says stuff about the team, but yeah, I'm doing well. Love being on this show and ready to talk some hoops.
What are you drink? Are you drinking today?
No, not
Nope.
today.
It's not Willer Light without a Willer Light.
Oh, no worries. No worries.
Next week I will be for sure.
It's encouraged but not required.
Right, absolutely so. All right, next we've got Coach Dante. What's up, Coach?
What's good, y'all? How y'all doing?
We're doing really well. How's your week?
Oh, my week was awesome. My week was awesome. Our lady Longhorns got a big time victory versus Kansas State.
You know?
The boys team not doing too good, but hey, well, I'm ready to talk some ball. But yeah, I'm having a great week.
Awesome. All right, next we got Steve Shawanda. What's up, Steve? How's your week? We can't hear you.
This man.
I had to do
This
a
man's
constant change. If Dom's going Atlanta, I'll go Atlanta. But I will go with the only true Atlanta Hawk ever, the human highlight film, Dominique Wilkins.
I have a Joe Johnson just like that one too.
Yeah, no, I this Hawk jersey was
That's
like
dope.
mid-80s, 85, like 87 Hawk jersey. Yeah, it's where it's at. But
what are you drinking this week?
Well, because Will's on the show, I did have a Willer Light. And and of course, there's always a Jaeger bomb on tap or two or three.
Oh my Lord.
So, because just like Dom, thanks to my 980 schedule, tomorrow is my Friday off as well. Every other Friday I have off. So
nice.
And with the Warriors playing right now, and Steph's got 31 in the third. Already hitting threes. Iowa and Caitlin play at 9. And our wonderful Detroit Pistons, with who's ever left with the trade deadline, we'll get there in a second, play Portland at 10. So, yeah, it's going to be a fun evening.
Absolutely. All right, guys, our last guest, we got Joseph Jenkins in the giant coat.
You guys are channeling. You guys are channeling football. I mean, not basketball. I thought I'd give a little urban legend. And be like, with the coat as I'm about to come out of nowhere and get you guys. But,
Is it cold in DC? It was 55 in Detroit today.
Listen, I'm not the guy I used to be back in the day. If it's dropped under 60, I'm wearing this big coat. That's how cold I get nowadays. I look like an Eskimo or, urban legends.
Meanwhile, in Michigan, if it hits 50,
it's a joke, you guys. I'm not really going through out here and kill people. It's a joke.
I saw like 10 motorcycles this afternoon. Yeah, it hits 50. All of a sudden, motorcycles come out in Michigan. JJ's got a freaking parka on.
Yeah, I saw someone on a bike today.
What are you drinking, Joseph?
Well, when my sister, sips, I gotta match her. It's the only time I want to match her. So I got my favorite summer watermelon with pineapple juice. So rock summer watermelon, pineapple juice, and apple juice and ginger ale.
Okay.
Have you had the ginger? Have you had the cheer one that's pineapple juice? It's pretty good. It's like a holiday version of cheer wine.
I haven't,
Cheer
but I'll
one's
put that on
it's
my
a
schedule.
Charlotte thing, or well, a Carolina thing.
Yeah,
I haven't, but I'm gonna try it because that sounds good.
We don't have it other places. All right, well, let's jump right into it. Let's talk about the trade deadline. Everything's been going crazy. Trade deadline happened for the NBA today at 3 p.m. Eastern. Talk to me about your favorite moves. Talk to me about your team. If your team didn't do anything, what did you like? What did you hate? Dom starts off.
Well, once again, the trade deadline has come and gone. We lost our two best shooters, arguably our two best shooters, Bojan Bogdanovic and Alec Burks. I guess I won't be able to sit behind Alec Burks' niece anymore so she can make goo-goo eyes at me because that was a thing last year many, many times. We traded our two best shooters and got the crumbs and the air. We got Evan Fournier and that Focaccia dude and a bunch of other dudes from the Knicks, all expiring contracts. We're clearing salary cap. Clearing salary cap for what? Oh, I don't know. Oh, to overpay a free agent that doesn't want to come here, a.k.a. Bohan 2.0. And this is what happens. This is what happens, Troy Weaver, when you put someone on the trade block for 2 fucking years and overvalue him, and then the trade deadline rolls around and you're like, oh, shit, now I just got to take whatever I can get, which is the aforementioned, say it with me now, crumbs in air.
Crumbs in the air. Now, they don't understand the reference.
It's in reference to the Andre Drummond trade where we acquired the same crumbs and air.
You do get Quentin Grimes.
He actually had missed the trade deadline. He's like,
You
what did
did get
do? I was like, you got some crumbs. And some
He's the only one. Quentin Grimes is the only one that I could see us maybe re-signing and developing. Everyone else.
No, not Evan.
He's older.
Yeah, I found that out today because one of my a group text I was in, my buddy just started freaking out. He was like, I want Troy Weaver off my planet. And I was like, oh, we got Evan Fournier. And then I looked and I'm like, oh, he's 31. We also traded Kevin Knox yesterday, and I thought he was like 30. He's 24 and played well when he played. He couldn't crack more. He couldn't crack deeper into the rotation to get more minutes, but he played well when he played. Good shooter, good defender. I don't know.
Forwards.
I don't know what the hell we're doing.
Was there a move that you liked or that you didn't like for a different team, or is it forget everybody else because they're not Detroit?
I'm just so blinded by my rage for Troy Weaver. I can't even see straight. Plus, I was at work all day, and I kept getting messages from people and stuff on the ticker from Bleacher Report, and I'm like, oh, good move. Then I see ours, and I'm like, oh.
Well, it can't be any worse than ours. So, all right, Will, talk to us about the Hornets, and then talk to me about what did you like about the trade deadline? What did you not like?
Ooh, Mr. No trade.
So the first thing the Hornets did was trade Gordon Hayward. Thank God he's off our books.
Right.
He's off our books. That's clearing a lot of space. For Trey Mann, who's a developing guard, and Davis Bertans, who's a decent shooter, big man. But I'm more excited for the Trey Mann part of it because he's a developing guard and he can be a backup guard behind LaMelo.
Okay.
And then we signed this guy I've never heard of named Vasilji Micic. No idea. Probably some overseas dude. But my favorite trade besides that Gordon Hayward one was my second favorite trade. My first favorite one was, I'm going to miss him here, but PJ Washington, I think he's going to Dallas, and Dallas is going to use him, and I think he's going to help Dallas a lot. I think he's going to take pressure off Luka and Kyrie. Not going to say he's going to drop 20 plus a night, but he's going to help because he actually averaged 13 and 5 off the bench. And in return, we got 2 Charlotte boys coming home who are from Charlotte. We got Seth Curry, which is awesome because his dad is the announcer for the Hornets. So that's pretty cool. And he's from Charlotte, went to high school in Charlotte. And Grant Williams, who went to the same high school as my sister in Charlotte. So, and then we got first-round picks. So, I'm happy to get Gordon Hayward off our books. I'm going to miss him, but you know what? He's a veteran. He's not the same player as he once was, as we all know. But I'm happy to see Seth Curry. Hopefully he I think he could come off as like maybe a 6th or 7th man off the bench. And then Grant Williams is a good defender. So I really like that trade the best. What I liked for other teams, let's see. I think Philly did really good getting Buddy Hield. Yes,
Okay.
they don't have a big man. One sec. Do I have the echo? Is that me?
I don't hear an echo, hon.
Oh. But
Gone now.
I liked the Buddy Hield trade for the Sixers. That was good to get him shooting. Take pressure off of Harris and Maxey. And yes, they don't have a big man that is like Embiid, but they have Paul Reed, who actually played pretty decent last night. And then who lost it? I think the Lakers are going to continue their struggles because they wanted to get DeJounte, but they just could. The Hawks, I think the Hawks said, we want to find a deal that screams to us. And you know what? The Lakers, another trade deadline gone by. And guess what?
They're gonna sign Dinwiddie. The mayor alert. Mayor has been released. Oh, and I thought of my favorite move. We fucking finally cut Killian Hayes.
Oh,
one last
I didn't
thing.
know that. Good for y'all.
And
Good
then
for y'all.
one more thing. Another loser of the trade deadline fun fact about the trade deadline. The Bulls haven't done a trade deadline move in 3 years.
Wow.
And Lonzo returns.
But yeah, that's my trade deadline recap.
For how long?
All right, Coach Dante, talk to us about the trade deadline.
Well, my Rockets didn't do anything, but I'm not shocked. I'm okay with it because, again, I was one of the guys that kind of wanted PJ Washington, a very underrated player. But if I had to give up an unprotected first-round pick, I'm not doing it, or a first-round pick, I'm not doing it. We still own Brooklyn first-round picks, and we still got second. So in case someone gets disgruntled and want to move in the offseason, we got the leverage to do that. We got the leverage to do that. Oh, of course, the Brooklyn. If the Brooklyn Nets want to come off Mikal Bridges, then we got the assets. We can do it. We can do that. So, not talking too much about my squad. I think they'll be fine when making no move. Oklahoma City got a busload of picks. You see, they being patient with them. Utah got some picks. They're being patient with them. So we're not in no rush to move on from those draft picks and stuff like that. So. I want to go back to what Will said. Yes, I like the Buddy Hield trade, but I thought losing Pat Beverly, that defensive guy that added toughness to the Sixers. I thought losing him to Milwaukee, a team that you losing him to Milwaukee, that's going to hurt. That's going to help Milwaukee's defense out a lot more. And I thought losing a young guard like Jaden Springer to Boston. These guys that all these teams that you trying to beat to get past the second round, you're helping them more than you helping your own team. And plus, you didn't address going up and getting a backup big man, knowing that Joel Embiid is out. You didn't address that move at all. And I like what the Knicks did. Also. They got Bogey, who can shoot the ball. Yes, he's a liability, but you got defensive guys on that team, and Anunoby and Josh Hart. You got guys on that team that can cover for Bogey when he's out there on the floor. Plus, he's a big-time three-point jump shooter. And they also got Alec Burks, who gives you instant offense off the bench. So I really like what the Knicks did. And right now, I think right now they're flirting to, at least if they have a healthy team, it's a chance they can get to the Eastern Conference Finals if they're healthy. So I like what the New York Knicks did.
Okay. Yeah, I do think the Knicks made some really good moves. All right, Steve, talk to us. Do you want to talk about Detroit? Talk about Golden State? Whoever you feel like it.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, Dom talked about the Pistons, and obviously, yeah, besides not even being able to get the pack of AAA batteries for Killian Hayes.
We just waived Gallinari.
Oh, wow.
And I mean, Joe Harris was also released.
Oh yeah, he got waived.
So yeah, which I thought you could at least package Joe Harris and Killian Hayes for at least,
For what, a whole half a cookie?
Yeah, I was thinking
instead of just the crumbs.
AAA batteries, yeah, a pack of AAA batteries, but unfortunately did not happen. I do think Beverly's going to help Milwaukee. I think that's a good trade for them, and I do wonder. Mr. Lopez is going to be bought out. Philadelphia should definitely try to sign him if they can, and I think that would be really good for them. Robin Lopez, again, he's not in his prime anymore, but he still can step out and shoot a little bit. He still is 6'11", 7 feet tall, can protect the rim a little bit. So for them, I think that would be a very nice move. Overall, this definitely wasn't the flashy trade deadline. Obviously, there wasn't, the big names. I mean, I think the Pistons are going to regret trading the best backup point guard in the NBA, Monte Morris, a couple days ago. But I am also very happy. Speaking about the jersey guy, I'm very happy that I did not buy a Monte Morris Pistons jersey because thanks to his injuries and then being traded, he played a whopping 6 games for the Pistons. But
just got healthy.
Yeah, exactly. He just got healthy. He's a veteran. Best assist to turnover ratio in the NBA. He's a perfect backup point guard, and he's going to do very well in Minnesota. That's a great trade for Minnesota. Yes, I'm a little biased because I've known him since he was a freshman in high school, but that's a great trade for Minnesota. And Xavier Tillman, somebody else who I've known since he was in 8th grade.
That's why you called him the best.
Going to Boston. Well, yeah, but he is a very good backup point guard. I call him the best because I know him and I'm biased, but he is a very good backup point guard. You can look at the assist to turnover ratio and know that I'm true. And hey, the Pistons won 3 games all year before he played, and in 6 games they won 3. So there you go. There's something to be said for a veteran leadership.
And where did Monte end up?
Minnesota. Yeah, Minnesota.
I like that. That's an underrated move.
Really good trade for Minnesota.
Yes, I like that move.
Just like I think that Gordon Hayward is a good trade for Oklahoma City because it is.
For sure.
They're not in their prime. Gordon Hayward definitely isn't, but and Monte's coming off an injury, but it's a veteran leader who's been there. And Gordon, I mean, obviously he was a shot away from winning a national championship in college at Butler, right? So he's a winner. And yes, it's great for Will to get that contract off his books because obviously that contract was you're paying for stuff that happened years ago. Not that what he was forward. Yeah, exactly. But to a young, very talented Oklahoma City team, I think that Minnesota and Oklahoma City are going to stay right there on top of the standings for the regular season. Now, come the playoffs, you still got to prove it to me before I would pick them over a veteran team. But it's always interesting, the teams that do nothing, I guess, more than the teams that do something. But because, and I know the mayor got, he got bought out. Lopez got bought out. I know Corey Joseph got bought out after the Warriors traded to the Pacers. Obviously, other people do too. Is it worse getting traded to someone and then being bought out, or knowing that the guy that you got traded for then gets bought out? Like the team wants you gone that much that they will trade you for someone that they're then going
that they don't even want.
Yeah,
just to get rid of you.
Yeah, like what's worse? Getting traded to a team and then immediately being bought out when then you can sign with whoever you want?
I don't understand the waving Dinwiddie like he's a starter.
He is a starter.
And apparently you're going to have to buy a Lakers Dinwiddie jersey, which is going to be just horrible for you. But that's what we're hearing.
Do we know when the waivers have to be completed?
Oh, gosh.
Sorry to throw that question out there.
Okay, just to get on the play, because there's difference between just to get on the playoff roster. It's still.
I think it's like 4 or 5 days.
Playoff, right.
Supposedly Dallas is also interested in Dinwiddie, which means I could bring my Dallas jersey, my Dallas Dinwiddie out of retirement. Not that I don't still wear it.
I don't know that they have room for him. They don't need that. They don't need that position.
They really don't.
All right, Joseph, talk to us about the Wizards. Talk to us about any of the other moves that you like or dislike.
Or hated.
Well, to be honest, I actually am kind of shocked that we didn't make any moves because all season long you heard about people being on the block. You know, you heard Tyus was going to be possibly moved. I'm very surprised because I think Kyle Kuzma could help a lot of contending teams and holes that they have as the fourth spot. Most notably, I was thinking Golden State, but I realized they believe in Kuminga and they're going to give him his chance to see if he can get it through. And he is producing. He has that jump. He has that bounce. But I was looking at a trade that I thought was going to happen that I thought would have helped both teams, which was the Mavericks trading with us for trading Rashawn Holmes for Daniel Gaffer. I think Daniel Gaffer would be a perfect fit as a backup big for any team that has a presence in their superstar lineup because he's a hustler. He gives you those effort. He's just not the biggest guy. You know, I've never seen somebody bang on the boards and then get beat up all the time, but still get back to bang on the boards. And he does know how to block some shots. His nickname is the landlord. That's what we call him in DC or whatever. The two moves I like the most, I do understand the Detroit Pistons Bojan going to Chicago because Tom Thibodeau knows his best defensive teams are not great shooting teams. And so going with teams that aren't good shooting teams, you need a shooter on your squad. And that's where both of those guys come in. So I respect that move 1,000%. And Milwaukee's seen it. They said, listen, if we have any chance of doing anything this year, we have to get better defensively. We just have to do it. And we have to do it at the guard spot because we cannot depend on Dame. And Malik Beasley is a backup guard. He's not a starting guard. At least with Patrick Beverley, I think you can insert him into the starting lineup. He takes on the best guard or the best four on the team, which could be a Jaylen Brown or it could be a Tyrese Maxey. You know, you need someone that is going to be able to be that hustler. You
go from Drew to Pat Bev.
It's crazy, but Patrick Beverley has been playing very well this year. He has been a consistent 3-and-D guy for the Sixers, and I think it's going to work well with them. But because it's clear as day, Milwaukee does need help defensively. They just do.
Right, yeah, of course. Yeah.
And at the end of the day,
I've wanted Pat Bev in Detroit for 10 years.
I'm good. Yeah, I'm good on the theatrics that come along with Pat Bev. So the Spurs didn't do a thing except move Dougie McDermott. We got one of the Morris brothers. I hate both of them. So really don't care which one is there. They can both leave. I wish they would get out of the league.
I'm on your porch.
Right.
I will second that.
Yeah, no, I don't fool with either of the Morris brothers. One of them was wearing the neck brace for so long, started that fight with Jokic, started it, but was really pissed that the results of being finished, you know? So I don't know. I don't like either one of them. And Dougie was doing all right off the bench. So I don't like the move. I don't care what the Spurs do until the draft.
Dougie's 3-point shooting, baby.
Yeah, no, I love Dougie. Like he comes off the bench, he'll hit like 9 to 12 real quick.
And he's leading the league in 3-point percentage?
You said what?
I think he's leading the league, or he's top 5 in 3-point percentage.
Hey,
I think 45%.
Hey, Jeremy.
Jeremy!
I just because the landlord was just mentioned, can we I just need to pour one out real quick, except I'm gonna do one. For the person formerly nicknamed the landlord, you might know him as Sheldon Williams. Most people might know him as Candace Parker's baby daddy.
Right, yeah.
Yes, there you go.
Oh, I was thinking you were talking about the janitor,
No.
Brian Cardinal.
Brian Cardinal's great, but
The janitor.
To be honest with you,
Sheldon Williams was nicknamed
Was
the
that
landlord.
to be honest with you, and I want to know this from the people that have horrible teams. Those names are given because it is hilarious trying to see these our announcers, our play-by-play people come up with something nice to say, like about the squad. It is absolutely hilarious.
God bless George
them, I'll be like,
and Greg Kelso trying to find positives about the Pistons. I mean,
I'm lucky that we got Michelle Beadle on our.
Thank God, love her.
Yeah, we got Michelle Beadle, so at least we have something nice to look at, and she's intelligent.
True story.
She's my baby. That's my girl. I love Michelle Beadle.
You are correct on both accounts there.
I met Blaha at the Remen Club, the game I went to earlier this year. Monkey Joe gets the hookup, like 11th row seats, free like buffet, free beer, free wine. We don't even need the wristbands anymore because he's good with the wristband ladies. They're just like, oh yeah, go ahead.
All right. All right, well, let's slide over to the next hottest topic because the news has been raging for about 7 days now. Let's talk about the WNBA free agency. So this year was a really different free agency. There was not any news until the absolute very last minute. No news started coming in until January 31st, which we usually hear something.
Sorry.
Oh, no, you're fine.
I had to go new news. Sorry. Kelsey podcast. Sorry. Jason Kelsey, the only Eagle I've ever liked ever in my life.
Oh God.
Oh, there goes Courtney. What's up, Court? Oh, my bad. She hates being called Court. I'm sorry, Courtney. Here, cheers to that, because I just fucked it up.
It's okay.
All right, so the biggest question for about a year and a half has been, where was Skylar Diggins-Smith going to land? Well, it turns out she got a landing spot right along a former MVP, Nneka Ogwumike, leaving the LA Sparks after 12 years. Will, talk to us about Seattle.
Man. My team, I think, won free agency. We got Skylar Diggins-Smith, and I like Skylar. I like her a lot. She is good on defense.
You're not the only one.
Yeah, she's good on defense, and she's good on offense. We did trade the Sparks, the 4th pick in the 2024 draft, and Kia Nurse, but we do get the Sparks pick in 2026. We also got Nneka Ogwumike, which is awesome. And I think I'm not saying Seattle is going to win the chip. I think they're going to be better this year because they're going to be able to help Jewel Lloyd out. So I think we're going to be a top 5 team. That's what I'm hoping. And then wasn't one of the topics your favorite move non-favorite team?
Yeah.
Damn it, Jim.
Dom. Courtney said hi.
What? Oh, hi, Courtney.
She asked, how are you, the Jersey guy? But you can message her after. Anyway, I'm going to go...
Tell her if she ever answered my text, she would know how I was doing.
Stop it. We're not doing it here.
So my favorite non-storm move, sorry to bring up Charlotte again, but Tiffany Mitchell was traded to the Connecticut Sun. She went to the same high school and college as my sister. And she also went to the same high school as Grant Williams and Devon Dotson.
Okay.
So I got a little Charlotte bias in me. But yeah, I'm really pleased what the Storm did. There was one girl I wish the Storm could have gone after, and we'll get to her later. You guys will. I have to go soon. But is Elena Deladon. I thought somehow, some way I would have loved to have her in Seattle.
The league just wants her. All right, Coach Dante. Dang, we're not going to get sad yet. We're saving it for the last part.
Megan, I do have a question about Deladon, like later. I'll message you about. I have a question.
Well, you can ask. We're here. Ask.
Do you think she's walking away because she wants to take care of her sister still, or she's just exhausted?
No. So what happened was she wanted out of Washington, and she was unhappy. And I think that she has maybe like 2 seasons at most left in her. We know she's injury prone. Let's be real. We know she's injury prone. And to fight back from that back injury that she's had, I mean, it's just, I don't know.
Has she recovered?
I feel like she,
Has she recovered properly from the injury?
Yeah, no, she's good. She's good to go. She's healthy.
Things change with this team when our
as good as she can be for being 30 plus with a history of back issues.
Well, here's the thing, y'all. She when she won the championship and her second MVP in 2019 with Washington, she did it with 2 herniated discs in her back, and she's had 2 surgeries since then. So what happened is she wanted out. She wanted to go out with a ring. So I think she wanted to join either Vegas or New York. Those are the top contending teams. And so she wanted to, Washington court her.
You can say it. You can
Washington
rag on it.
court. No, I'm not going to be nice. Washington court her. And so that basically a franchise tag, like football, franchise tag. So basically they're the only ones that can talk to her. If she was to get out of Washington, she would have to be traded. They waited so long in free agency with these dealings that nobody has room for a super max deal. Now Vegas has room for a max deal, but not a super max deal. And if they would have negotiated her contract down, because she was willing to go down to 100,000, just like Candace, and she just wanted to go out on top, she just wanted to go out on top, y'all. And
I don't like how we're doing this with her. I don't like it. I just don't.
Really, really, really broke my heart. And so because of nobody's going to pick up that super max deal, and she won't sign it. So her sitting out the season means that they can core her again next season, which means that'll be 2 seasons away from the W. And by then, we're going to have all these college ladies in there. This is the last Adela Dawn we're ever seeing.
It's such a really bad situation, and it's like
right.
Washington basketball is in turmoil. Like, it is in real turmoil on both sides. And once the Hall of Fame and the leader of our ring as our coach retired, the son, he's good, but it's just not the same.
It's not the same.
And like to Steve's point,
you can't fault her for wanting to win. Like, you can't fault her for wanting to go out on top after everything that she's gone through. Because on top of all this, baby has residual Lyme disease.
To Steve's point, exactly 1,000% with that, because that's your health is a big important thing, and you just want to be able to be on a team where you don't have to give as much, and on Vegas and the Liberty you don't have to give as much, but you can still be having fun and playing basketball.
Right.
And a player of her caliber
deserves it.
Deserves more.
She absolutely deserves to go out her way.
Deserves more than $100,000. Period. Like,
I'll miss her, but I knew
she's willing to take that to win, and to take less to be on a winning team, to go out on top. And so they basically forced her into early retirement because they didn't want her to leave for nothing in return.
But it's crazy because you just said that we won a title when she was dealing with so much, and this is how we were paying her.
Well, she's given everything. She's given everything.
I agree, but I'm just like, really? That's how we're going?
Right. But you still, if you would have negotiated her contract down, you still would have got something in return. It wouldn't be what you want. But
you know what?
Also, if you wouldn't have waited this late into free agency, if you wouldn't have BS this late into free agency, she could have been where she wanted, and you could have got something in return.
Megan, DC is corrupt just like the government here. But you go ahead. We can continue on to another topic because that's another topic for the day.
Coach Dante, talk to us about some of the WNBA free agency moves that you saw that you liked.
Well, I like the move of Mecca going to Mecca Gumake, going to the Seattle Storm, and that also helps Seattle be in playoff contention. They were very competitive last year with Jewel Lloyd. They just wasn't good enough to win those games down the stretch. Literally last year, Jewel Lloyd was the only reason they were in any type of ball game last year. But now they can win some of those close games that they lost with Mecca being a 19-10 scorer, and also with Skylar Diggins. We know who she was before she left, was an all-star type point guard. And you have a young Jordan Horston who had a great season last year. And Noah Quinn, she's a great head coach. Noah Quinn is a very good head coach. So you got some good pieces over there in Seattle that can compete now. Maybe they are a playoff team to me. And that team that you don't want to play them in Seattle. That crowd is really good. But Jewel Lloyd has ice in her veins. And again, that she's on another level. To get those two 20-point per game scores right there and combine that with a young Jordan Horston. And also I think you got with that big center, Russell, I believe, inside as well, which she's pretty good. Mercedes, yeah, she's pretty decent as well. Can hit the outside shot. I like what Seattle done.
Is Gabby going to play this year, or she's international?
Who?
I think Williams. I have no idea, but if Gabby Williams play this year, she will be another big piece to Seattle if she plays.
Okay.
But
All right, Steve, talk to
Megan,
us about
I've got to go.
Okay. Thank you so much for coming on, Will. We appreciate it.
Yep.
Bye, Will.
Peace out, Will.
Have a good night, Will.
All right, Steve, talk to us about the moves you liked. What did you not, if there was anything you didn't like?
I mean, I don't want to just keep beating a dead horse. So all I will say is I love that how they did it, that Shanae got to do the breaking news of her sister signing with Seattle.
Hold on 1 second. I'm going to pour me another drink. So Steve, just keep talking
okay.
for a second.
So yeah, the way that they go ahead, it's your show. Pour yourself a drink.
You better go, sis.
Yeah. Just if you didn't see it, like they started NBA Live or whatever. I think it's just called NBA Live still, right? Yeah, but they talk about obviously both. But yeah, to let Shanae basically she got off the phone with her sister to make it official, to then make the announcement and have the sister join the show later. Just a very cool moment. And if you don't know, I love me some Shanae. So I'm all for that. So I love what Seattle's doing. Obviously, Scott. I mean, I love Taurasi. So like, I'm still upset that Phoenix couldn't figure it out. That make Skylar happy, and her and Cunningham with BG and DT. Like, you still should be. You should be one of the worst 2 or 3 teams in the league. Like, if those are the people on your roster, like, you should be able to figure it out a little bit, right?
Right.
But and
and she sure let those Twitter choppers sing after she got signed. Did she not? Have y'all seen her account?
Man, I loved that. Like, I mean, obviously, I'm a huge Skylar. I love everything about it. Just like because leading up to it, when they're all like, where's Skylar gonna go? What's Skylar? You're like, she's like, good question. I want to know that too. Like, it's just like everything was perfect. And again, this is not. She's not. I'm 41, so no offense to Diana, but like, yeah, this is not somebody in their 40s. Like, Sty can still go. Like,
right. Well, okay, so her and Elena came in at the same year, and I think that says a lot right there, because Elena has been through so much, and not that Skylar hasn't, but Skylar's health is top notch compared to Deladon. Yes. They came in the same year.
No, back issues, knee or back, basically, right? Like, those are the things that are really big, just for as far as cutting and moving and playing defense in a stance. Like, you don't want your knees and back to be bad, right? So if you can get through 8, 10, 12 professional seasons and your knees and back are still intact, you're doing okay.
Yeah, you won.
Well, and because the women's careers aren't as long anyway, because they come in the league later.
Right. And a lot of them, and hopefully not, well, probably not after BG, not as much, but most of them still play professionally overseas,
all year
long, of the W, right? Like, obviously the famous story of Diana not playing a year because she got paid $1 million from a Russian team not to go home, to sit in an apartment or whatever in Russia and not come home. But so they still had to go other places. Like, imagine, an NBA player having to go from June until October at another job, right? Like, it's ridiculous. So they got even more wear and tear on their bodies that, yes, they couldn't be one and done. They had to stay, until they, I guess their graduate year, right? Technically, if they redshirt, they can probably go after their redshirt junior year. But so they have that many more games, on them. But, well, for example, Caitlin Clark just turned 22, January 22nd, her golden birthday. She just turned 22 on January 22nd. How many NBA players in the league are younger than 22? If we looked it up, probably over 100. Literally.
Right.
So it's a big difference.
Absolutely. All right, Joseph, talk to us about free agency.
Absolutely. Love the conversation for sure. I like the Aneka, Skylar, and Jewel getting together, because you got 3 girls who are still in their prime, who have still the ability to create shots for other people, get their own shot in a moment's notice. They'll go off, and they actually work well with each other, because Aneka can play that 4 spot. She's a good rebounder, and she loves to play hard. And, she's got that fire in her because she's been that way. She was one of the best players in college, and she's been one of the best players in WNBA. Skylar?
Two-time MVP.
Two-time MVP. I am glad this is over for Skylar. I'm glad that she is somewhere now that she doesn't have to worry about the stuff that's going on. And it's not all saying that it's on Phoenix's fault, but I just think this needs to end at some point in time because Phoenix, so much going on. But you know what? They got Kalia Copper coming in. That's going to be a,
I think it wouldn't have gone that way with Phoenix as far as Skylar airing them out if they wouldn't have been trying to portray her as unprofessional. And that was not the case.
Right. But I think, exactly. At the end of the day, you got to speak your truth. You got to live your truth.
Yes. Good for her.
But I will say, and we already touched on it, I'm really disappointed at my team because at the end of the day, I am a firm believer in go out on top. In this league, and with so much going on, go out on top. I wanted her to go to Vegas or the Liberty because I want her. I think she's like Candace. They genuinely love seeing these young girls and their mindsets play basketball. Right. And they believe in that mindset because that's the mindset they have. But, it's unfortunate. It is what it is with this team. But you know what? It's looking bright. And the reason why people love the WNBA is because it's how we grew up playing basketball.
Yeah. Right, yeah.
We played team basketball. Everybody had a role. Everybody did what they're supposed to, and everybody hustled. The reason why these girls, they're amazing for them to last this long when they are the only ones that I see every time I watch that are always on the ground, always getting bodied, always playing and everything. They play how we were taught. When you play defense, you win on the defensive end and you keep your name by having a great defense. And a lot of these girls, they pride themselves.
I need you to call Tierra and tell her to hustle.
But you know what? I haven't had a chance to look, but I don't know. But maybe you could correct me.
Megan, please, I don't know. Don't do that. Don't get me started.
This is a rebuild year for the.
Don't get me started on Tierra.
Don't get me started. But I'm gonna miss it. I'm gonna miss Della Dawn. Right. I'm gonna miss Natasha Cloud because that was my girl. I loved her energy. Right. I loved her fire. And Natasha, she started off as a Terp with us. Unfortunately, with Brenda. Brenda's a little bit out there. She is old school, and so she was like, "Yeah, let me get out of here, and I need to get playing time by going over here." But you know what? That's the business. But I love. It's funny because everybody clowns the WNBA for things that they wish the NBA was doing. It just doesn't make sense to me. It really makes no sense to me. If you want
post play, you want actual lane post play. Watch the W.
You want team basketball?
The association could learn a thing or two from the W for sure.
Like you just want team basketball. You want the ability to sit there and have people get their open spots. You could still produce and dominate.
Not resting games.
But to your point, that's why, in my opinion, generations with Kobe and all of them, LeBron, all of them, they appreciate the women's basketball because they, you know what? That's how we played. That's how I grew up.
And
that's
as a basketball fan, I don't want to watch the same product every single level. Like I love college because it's college. I love W because it's women. I love international because it's all offense. Like I love basketball in general, and I don't want to watch the same product on every avenue that I'm watching.
Sidebar for you. I wanted to laugh when we were talking about the how everybody's getting European guys. I'm like, Megan must be looking like y'all trying to be like us. You can't do it like us.
They definitely
do it like us. You can't do it like us. You just can't do it. You're not.
Well, you're not gonna find another Manu or Tony Parker. It's not gonna happen. The only reason that happened is because of Popovich.
Oh, you mean Killian Hayes isn't the next Tony Parker just because he was French and played pro as a high schooler, teenager?
Here's the thing about Killian. I like Killian. I just knew he was on the team that he was terrible.
Y'all just watch your mouth.
Too many guards. Too many.
He is horrible.
He's not horrible, but you have tape.
Hold on, Steve.
Honestly.
Hold on, Steve and Dom. Let's be honest. Jaden and Cade have solidified themselves as the 1 and 2. Point blank, period. No matter how
that's going, they don't mix on the floor at the same time. The only reason that Jaden Ivey is shining now and that he shined for so much of last year is because Cade was hurt. They don't fit together on the floor. And they don't want to make Ivy the sixth man because he doesn't fucking play defense. That was the only thing that Killian was allegedly good for. Although I will say, the handful of games that I went to last year, Killian Hayes played well.
So, Joseph, do you have anything else on WNBA free agency?
I'm excited for the year, but I'm excited. I love the little exchange between Aja and Skylar. She's like, "Sweetheart, give me your phone. You talking about we a super team and y'all are still here,
right,
dominating." But it's beautiful because I like the dominant teams because I want to see teams eventually overcome them.
right. Well, that's the point of it, like they talk about they've got a target on their back. Well, baby, y'all the best. Of course, we're all trying to. So speaking of trying to, it looks like everybody's buying in Dallas. So we got Kalani Brown to re-sign for less money and less playing minutes. She's buying into what Dallas is doing, sticking with LT. She could have been a starter anywhere else. Vegas wanted her. And they would have paid her, and she turned it down to stay in Dallas. Then turn around and Satu re-signs with Dallas also. 1-year extension. I think that says a lot that she wants to win, and she is buying into Dallas. I don't know if that was a financial signing with it just being 1 year, and then maybe next year she can get her big contract and stay with Dallas. Maybe that's the case, or maybe she might be looking to the future of, I'm giving Dallas all the time that I can to work it out, and it doesn't seem like it's doing it. But she's giving us another year. She went and did an interview on SportsCenter, and she talked a whole lot about that series with Vegas. And while she said that she was proud of them for making it to the semis, it was humiliating to be swept. And her verbiage of how she put it was that coin it as unfinished business. So to me, that says that Dallas is really taking the word championship and winning very serious. Now, Dallas did beat Vegas once last year during the regular season. And then the last 2 games of that semifinal series were pretty close as well. So not that you can take anything away from them getting swept, because they did get swept. But those last 2 games, they played really, really hard, and they were close. So for me, that says a lot about Dallas. This is only LT, Latricia Trammell's 2nd year with the team. And for them to re-sign less money, and especially Kalani, because she's a starter anywhere else, I think that says a lot. Then also we re-signed Stephanie Soares too. Now, she didn't play on her rookie contract. She tore her ACL last January, and it's looking like she's ready to go for the season. So even if we decide to move on from one of our bigs come trade deadline time, we still got Stephanie Soares right there on the roster too. Looking forward to seeing her and Lou play as well. I think Lou is the answer to our one problem.
Yes.
Take Arike off the ball. Veronica Burton is a solid backup. Trade Crystal Dangerfield. I like Crystal, but she's too small.
He's too on the side. So.
Yeah.
She's too small. I mean, it just is what it is.
Love her name.
They say that she's 5'5", but I've stood next to her. I swear she's probably 5'4".
Yeah.
She's just very tall. Now, when my mom saw her play, she was like, she's like a little angry chihuahua out there. And I was like, yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. She's running around like crazy, trying to do the most.
Yeah.
She's got a shot. She plays defense, but let's be honest. She's 5'4" or 5'5". Like, she's small. It is what it is. The guard position has transitioned to 6-foot tall guards. That's what it is. So that's what I would do with the roster. Now, we did end up losing Diamond DeShields in free agency. We did not get to see her play in a Wings jersey. I'm sad for that, because I love Diamond. I love her story. I think she has a lot of potential. And Chicago's lucky to get her back, because what the hell are they doing trading away their best player in Kalia Copper? And now they have tried to backdoor.
Rebuild.
They've tried to backdoor. Now, don't get me wrong. They got a haul for Kalia. They got a haul. So now they could end up with Paige Beckers, because they got that number 3 pick from Phoenix. Phoenix, I don't think it's enough to beat Vegas or New York. I don't even know if it's enough to beat Dallas, but they'll be better than they were last year. So I guess my favorite move is probably what ATL did. They re-signed Nia Coffey. They signed Tina Charles, who didn't play last year in the W, but she did play overseas. She's another player that was on a Supermax deal and certain teams didn't necessarily want to pick her up, but here she is. She's back. I think she's going to come in and add a lot of veteran leadership to that incredibly young team. Very similar to the Gordon Hayward move to OKC. That's what I feel like Tina Charles can do for that team over there. And we know that Tanisha Wright has had some problems with her locker room. I think Tina Charles can help her get those things back in order just by her leadership and her experience. So those are my favorite moves. Vegas, I feel like, was waiting on Deladon. They put all their eggs in that basket and it didn't work out. So I am never going to probably be able to forgive Washington for this if we don't see Deladon ever play again.
Yep.
Speaking of the Dream, where is our resident Atlanta Dream expert and superfan Clinton McCain?
You know, he has several shows, so he's not on every week, but he comes on when he can.
Speaking of the Dallas Wings, Miss May, I'm glad you brought that up because I'm a big time Kalani Brown fan. I remember posting her jump shot on Twitter. I believe it was one game. I forgot she was making it. It had to be a home game. I believe we were down to the Minnesota Lynx, and she was making jump shot after jump shot. So I posted it on Twitter, and she retweeted and replied back and said, "I've been had it," and that made me kind of be a big fan of her. But 6'7", she's very tall. I just need for her to be 6'7". She missed too many damn layups, but I like her. I'm a big fan of her.
I think she's coachable, though. That's something that you can teach.
Yeah.
Whereas Tiara's lack of effort is not teachable. That's attitude.
Yeah.
You know.
Anything that don't go Tiara way, she shows a lack of effort. If Tiara McCowan don't get her way, that's how she shows. She does get a lack of effort, and she doesn't do well running up the floor. And I feel like that's how Vegas beat us last year. And then again, Crystal Dangerfield, like her, I think she plays hard on defense. She tried whatever she tried whatever she does to keep the guard, keep the big tall guards in front of her. But she in the playoffs, that starting to wear off, and she's too undersized. But I'm glad to see Lou Lopez Seneschal play. I think she's the answer to our guard situation. 6'1", can shoot the basketball, got great size on her. And Stephanie, she's also can shoot the three. She was a 40% 3-point shooter at Iowa State. So I'm glad she's coming back. If we do make a move, Tiara McCowan I want Tiara McCowan to be the big man out. I really do.
And I think the writing is on the wall for either. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't think it's for Kalani, but let's just say there's 3 bigs on the roster. You know what I mean? When it comes trade deadline, one of those probably got to go if we're being realistic. So they are playing for those positions right now. And if Tiara, they made it pretty obvious, Dallas did, that they're going to go with Tiara as the starter. But I feel like she should know that her job is on the line for sure. You got to play hard, or they're going to move on from you. So, because they have plenty of other people that are ready to play and buy into what LT's selling. So, all right, real quick, let's touch on our last subject, NCAA. And when I say real quick, I know it's not going to be real quick because the season has been insane. We've had upsets left and right. We have big games coming up this weekend. Steve, start us off. Talk to us about some NCAA.
Oh my gosh! All right, so real quick. And this
dude changed clothes again.
Well, yeah, because I was playing now, so I got my "You Serious" Clark.
You can't mess with that.
Serious Clark? Yeah. All right, so this is just because I'm trying to getting good with the hostess was the mostest. Women, what is Baylor doing, huh? You know, started the season 14-0. They're 3-5 since then. I mean, obviously they lost to Texas, the fighting Megan Prices. But they just lost to BYU by 12.
Right, and BYU's like last in the conference, I think.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the loss to Texas at home, though they did beat Texas at Texas earlier this year.
They did, but it was our first game without Rory.
But so Texas beating Baylor at Baylor. Baylor also lost at Iowa State and at Kansas.
And Tech. Didn't they lose to Tech?
No, they lost to Kansas State, who's good. I mean, Kansas State's good. And that was at Kansas State. But that was at home. Excuse me. That was at home to Kansas State, but Kansas State's good. So you lose to 2 ranked teams at home in Texas and Kansas State, and you lose to 3 bad teams, BYU, Iowa State, and Kansas on the road. Maybe not bad's the wrong word, but not a top 15
Middle
team.
of the road.
Yeah,
Bottom.
not a top 15 team. So that's crazy. On the men's side, quickly, I mean, Clemson beating UNC in Chapel Hill was nuts.
Hey, we dedicate that to a few X's there in Carolina.
Yeah. And then Sunday, obviously, is, I mean, I hope everyone's ready for the big game, right? I mean, of course, we're talking about South Carolina and UConn, right?
The Puppy Bowl?
There's not another game, right? There's not another game on Sunday, right? We're all talking about
UConn,
South Carolina, right? Yeah.
Dude, does anybody think that
by the way,
UConn can actually win the game?
And Caitlin Clark is going to pass the all-time scoring record on Sunday as well. Just throwing that out there. That's going to happen.
Okay.
Just saying. I love Kelsey Plum. I mean, she's married to my tight end, Darren Waller, as a Giants fan. But, yeah, Caitlin Clark will be on Sunday.
The Giants? I didn't even know New York still had a team.
Well, technically, they have 3, but 2 of them play in New Jersey, if you want to get technical. But we're fine with that. And, again, you win a couple playoff games, and then you want to talk football. You still haven't won a road playoff game in 67 years. Shut up. You don't.
It's okay. We'll be back.
You don't want to talk football. Trust me. You don't want to talk football. But
we'll be back.
But yeah, Caitlin Clark.
Hey, shout out to getting Kenny Galladay off the books.
Yeah. But yeah, Caitlin Clark is going to.
Wait, ready? Because I did it last night too. Ready?
He's going to pass Kelsey Plum. You have a Lions Galladay jersey? Oh my God!
Galladay was the man when he was a Lion.
He was, actually.
All right. But yeah, obviously Iowa's playing now. That's why I made the switch. Looking forward to Sunday. Caitlin Clark passing the all-time scoring record. And UConn and South Carolina women are going to be lit. And then I guess there's a football game after that, but whatever.
Okay. Joseph, you got some NCAA for me?
Yeah. You know, I was actually talking about, so a lot of people I haven't had a chance to share this, but I happen to know Luke Garza's mother, who happens to be the forward at Iowa. And we were talking about women's basketball today, and we got the topic about Maryland. I think this might need to be Brenda's last year, or maybe, see what's going on, because her coaching style, unfortunately, does not fit with these girls today. And with the Neil out there and with the recruiting, people aren't coming to Maryland like they used to for many years, for almost 20 years. I'm used to my team not losing more than 6 or 7 games.
Right.
We're 13-10. We just won against Rutgers after being down and losing 4 straight games. And even though we had a close game with Iowa was killing us. At the end of the day, I love her. Thank you for bringing a title. I remember so many amazing Maryland games. But I just don't know if it's going to last unless she's willing to make a switch and change her coaching style, because they're not fit for your aggressiveness in terms of how you demanded them. That's why Angel left. That's why Lexi left. Natasha left. People are going to leave. It's just
but I will say this: that's why Diamond Miller succeeded.
True. And it works.
And that's why she's at Minnesota right now under a tough coach in Cheryl Reeves, and she's going to be just fine because she has
the right players. Listen to the Tom Izzo people. The people
unfortunately
who
not everybody
Tom Izzo leave. The people who stay with Tom Izzo would
love him.
Throw himself in front of a car for him, right? You need the right people.
Right.
Yeah, and unfortunately today, to be successful in the end.
Remember when people thought that about Juwan Howard?
You need that. True. But I will say, in terms of, women's basketball,
I would love to throw Juwan Howard in front of a car.
I say this very serious, because I've watched and I've listened and I've heard and I've seen. This South Carolina UConn matchup is a guy who dominated for so long come against the next coach who I think is going to dominate for so long. And it's going to be interesting because Gino had some comments to say about Dawn in South Carolina a couple of years ago. that. What'd you say, my dear?
I was reading the comment. Sorry.
Oh. So it's like I'm excited for this matchup because I love Paige and I firmly want to see Paige at her best against this team at their best because, of course, Paige knocked out Kai in the NCAA Elite 8 her senior year.
Right, yeah.
But I love this matchup. I love Caitlin Clark. I personally think South Carolina it's their year. I think they're revving up again. But I'm excited because at the end of the day, college women's basketball for me has always been love the heart, love the hustle, love the fact that you get down, you get dirty, because how I grew up, the game I learned to love was exactly that. It was exactly that.
Right.
I'm with
Well,
it. I
look,
love NBA.
we're
Don't
a
get me
panel
wrong.
of mostly guys, and we're talking women's basketball to the extent that we're talking because it's so good. The product is so good over the last few years. So love it.
I have said it many times, and it's not just trying to suck up to anybody. Like, it's just true. Women's college basketball right now is better than men's college basketball. Like,
by far,
it is.
I mean, Nate.
Thank God for the Lady Wolverines because Juwan Howard, your days are numbered.
They did get a nice win. Well, actually, a huge win against Wisconsin the other night. But it's
quadrant one. We're still in dead fucking last in the conference.
Yeah, it's a little too late, but truthfully, in all seriousness, like, who are the not good players? Obviously, there's great players in the college men's game, but who are the stars in the men's college game? Like, the women's game has stars. Like, they have great players too, but they have stars.
Well, it's because in men's the stars only play 1 year.
Right, exactly.
Well, that's true.
So it makes the women's game even better because you feel like you really
you get to watch.
You feel like you really know them. And like, especially like somebody like Paige, like, has been through so much with her injuries and, like, obviously if she had the man rule after her freshman year, she would have been in the W, and she would have been a top probably 3, if not number 1 pick, and she'd be playing professionally, right? But that's not the case. That's a topic for a different day. But, like, you have these legitimate stars that you've watched. I mean, yes, Iowa sold out all their games in 3 minutes or whatever.
Right.
They've also sold out every road game that they've had so far. Like that's
people want to watch. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you like Iowa. They want to see
the stuff that Juju's doing. And one, she's only a freshman, and 2, she plays at USC, which is tough because she's on the West Coast. So a lot of us older people will go to bed before most of her games. But when you have a chance to watch her play, she's really, really good. And, like, there's like, the women's tournament is going to be amazing. I cannot wait for the women's tournament. For the next W season is going to be amazing with this draft class. But and that's what they need to continue this evolution. Like you say, yes, mostly guys, we're talking about women's basketball. First of all, we're all basketball fans. And if you like basketball, you like women's basketball. It's the person who thinks that they're above watching women's sports that you have to get turned around. Basketball fans love women's basketball because women's basketball is basketball.
Right.
In fact, it's better pure basketball.
Yeah, it's better team basketball for sure.
Yeah. So if we're basketball fans, of course we love women's basketball. Because
and not to say that I don't like the NBA, because I do, but I'm saying I don't want to watch the same product over and over. I don't want to go to a high school game and watch NBA stars. No, like, I want to watch the high school game, and then the college game, and then the women's game.
But Megan, what I will say is Orlando, Oklahoma City, Sacramento, Houston, they're going to reinstill you loving and being happy to watch the NBA again. Because those teams are actual teams, and they are very talented, and they play very well together. And I understand that point because I love basketball, period. I just love basketball, period, like you. Like, we are basketball people that we live, breathe, and, like, Steve referenced it earlier when he was talking about NBA Live, and I was like, I grew up on that. Yes, talk about it. Let's go. Let's bring it on. Right. And WNBA, I remember watching Baylor win their first title, Diana Taurasi going on her record, and then watching my Terrapins winning against Duke, and then seeing tournament performances like Marissa Coleman against, Jennifer Risper and the Vanderbilt Commodores scoring 40
Look, we're
points.
almost there. We're almost to March.
Sorry.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
Yeah,
So we've had a couple of
We're getting
upsets already. Today we had Notre Dame get upset by Louisville. So Notre Dame sitting at the 12 ranking, Louisville sitting at the 15. Not a huge upset, but
it was at Louisville. It was at Louisville. So
it was at Louisville.
I did watch. I watched most of that game. It was a good game. But yeah, like
I'll
those
say
games are
the 2 ranking all the way to probably like the 19 ranking all have a solid chance to make a
bunched together, just like last year.
They're very similar. Like their records are very similar. The shakeup, like so, really like a 12 versus a 15. That's basically the same record.
well. Like and I got it quickly because I always have. I'm wearing a Caitlin Clark shirt right now while I'm watching Iowa. My friend Raina Harmon is an assistant there. If you haven't watched the show before, that's my Iowa connection. But Ohio State has beaten both Indiana and Iowa, both be it at home. But Ohio State, Indiana, and Iowa, you have 3 legitimate teams for the Big Ten that could make a Final Four run.
Right.
I don't have to tell Megan and Dante, who also in that area. The Big 12 is freaking loaded. So
any given night, especially
there's 10 teams in the Big Ten are at or above 500.
At least 11 teams in the Big 12 that can make in the tournament right now. They can project it with that schedule.
And that's men's. Yeah. Now on the women's side, it was a little bit less last week, but then they brought it up this week. They have 5. This week they have 5 women's teams that are ranked in the top 25.
Well, right now, you still have Colorado, Kansas State, Texas
on their way. Colorado is on their way to the Big 12. So Virginia Tech is playing NC State right now.
I counted that. Yeah.
So Virginia Tech is playing NC State right now, and they are up 12 on NC State. Virginia Tech is the 16 ranking, and then NC State is sitting at number 3. So that'll definitely hurt their ranking for sure. Yeah. Then we have Oregon State versus Utah tomorrow at 9 Eastern. We got West Virginia versus Baylor, talking about Big 12 basketball on the ladies' side. That's the 22 West Virginia versus Baylor on the 18. I want to talk about West Virginia a little bit real quick. That is a team that's only lost 2 games in the conference, and they don't have them ranked above like Texas, which Texas had more losses in the conference. So,
Baylor,
now they have not played the same level of opponents.
Baylor's 3-5 in their last 8. They're 3-5 in their last 8, and they're not.
And they're still
still below them. Yeah,
So I think you have to give them their flowers and move them up in the rankings right there in the poll. Then we got Louisville versus Syracuse, which is the 15 versus the 23. That's going to be Sunday. Sunday is jam-packed, full of basketball. We've got UConn versus SC. We talked about that. That's the 11 versus the 1. That's at 1 o'clock on Sunday Eastern. And then we also at the same time, we got Oregon State versus Colorado. Now, Oregon State is sitting at the 17 and Colorado is sitting at 4. But like we were talking, the 2 to the 19, any of those matchups are solid. So those are all going to be very good games. Looking forward to that. And I think that's going to do it for us tonight. Oh, one last thing that I wanted to talk about. Some underrated moves in the WNBA free agency real quick. Now, this is one that I completely forgot about. And come the season time, y'all are not going to remember this either until they start hitting a lot of losses. That's the Minnesota Lynx. They got Alana Smith and Courtney Williams added to their roster there. Now, so you got Courtney Williams, Caleb McBride, you got Alana Smith, you got Nafisa Collier, and you got Diamond Miller. You telling me that's not a squad that can hand out some losses? I really feel like watch out for the Minnesota Lynx. That's a squad right there.
I got one more thing to say, Miss Megan, before we get up out of here. First of all, I want to talk about how bad Vanderbilt is to give up 109 points to Kentucky. Maybe Kentucky made you see that better than them, but that game was a finish game when they played them. And also, I want to talk about, we was just talking about this the other day, Madison Booker is, I love her as a freshman. That post game, the jump shot, her ability to play make. She's only a freshman, and she's got that size. I love me some Madison Booker.
Absolutely, absolutely. Joseph, I saw that shot face, baby. I seen it. All right, guys, that does it for us on the Sip Off tonight. Thank y'all so much for sharing. Thank y'all for watching. Thank you for commenting. And we will see y'all back next week. It's basketball season, y'all.
Yes, full of